Good day, fair folk. We would like to thank thee for patronizing our shop, Woven Magic, at the Texas Renaissance Festival. This is your socially distanced drop spindle lesson. When you purchased your drop spindle kit, you were given a drop spindle, fiber, and a leader. Let's start with identifying the different parts of your spindle. Now you may have chosen either a bottom whorl spindle or a top whorl spindle. The parts are the same, regardless of which one you chose. A bottom whorl spindle has the round part, the whorl, on the bottom and a hook at the opposite end. A top whorl spindle has the whorl at the top and the hook on the same side. Your leader is a piece of string or yarn that is an easy way to attach your fiber to the spindle. As you become more experienced, you can attach your fiber directly to the spindle, but this is a good way to begin. We'll just tie a knot in one end. Wrap it around and slide one loop through the other and pull it until snug. Bring your leader up and around your hook. You can drape your leader over your spindle, pull one loop through the other, pull it snug. If it's spinning, you're pulling too tight, loosen it. Let the leader get a couple of wraps before you start pulling any tension on it. It will grip the spindle. Come from behind the hook and loop it on the hook. With your leader attached, holding your leader in your dominant hand, practice spinning your spindle with a flick of your fingers. You can flick anywhere on the spindle, wherever is comfortable. And you're holding it between your fingers and giving it a flick or a flick. Determine which direction is most comfortable for you. Some people spin to their right or clockwise. If you're looking down at the spindle, it's clockwise. This will give your yarn a Z twist. Some people spin counterclockwise. Or to the left. This will give your yarn an S twist. S and Z are used to describe the angle of twist. It does not matter which way you spin, as long as you make a mental note of which one you're doing. Because if you are spinning counterclockwise, and then you forget and you start spinning clockwise, you will notice your yarn comes unspun. And we don't want to do that. So whether it's clockwise is more comfortable to the right or counterclockwise to the left, does not matter. Just pick one and make a mental note. Now, we're going to set down our spindle and talk about fiber. You received a small bundle of fiber when you purchased your drop spinning kit. And you may have purchased additional fiber at our shop. Now this fiber may come a little clumped up, and we want to fluff it. For a beginner, it is important to take small sections of fiber, perhaps the size of a mouse. You grab your fiber and you can just pull. If your fiber does not pull apart, you may be holding it too close together or too tightly. Just a gentle grip and it should pull apart. Small pieces is what we're looking for. If you're holding it too close, it's going to be hard to pull apart. Hold it further away from itself, a little more gently, and it should pull apart. And we're going to fluff your fiber, and that just means pull it apart until it's nice and light and airy. This makes it easier to spin. Now, while you fluff your yarn, we're going to talk about some things with fiber. Fiber has what is called a staple length. And what that is that is the length of the individual fibers. A good staple length for beginning spinning is about 3 to 5 inches. This is a nice long staple that's easy to spin. It grabs onto itself quickly. Other fibers like cotton have a shorter staple and are more difficult to spin. We recommend saving those fibers until you have a little more experience under your belt. When you're looking at wools, you will see different names for wools. Things like Corriedale, Chevat, BFL, or Jacob. These are different breeds of sheep, and different breeds of sheep come out with different kinds of wool that are curly or straight, or thick or thin. We're looking for something that is 25 to 35 or 40 microns in thickness is a good beginner fiber. Anything thinner becomes a little slippery and is more difficult to spin. The reason spinning creates thread that does not pull apart is because wool has tiny little scales along each hair, much like human hair. As you apply pressure with a twist, those tiny little scales grab onto each other and make a thread that does not want to pull apart. If you're looking for an inexpensive fiber to practice with, look at your big box craft stores nearby your home. You will find these super chunky yarns, or the yarns that are made for arm knitting, that they're very loosely spun and they're very fibery. This is roving. Most of these yarns are synthetic fibers, but because they're inexpensive, they have a very long staple, this can be a good fiber to practice with. And if you mess it up, it's no big deal because it wasn't that expensive. When you're ready, search the internet to find places to purchase wool. One of our favorite places that we would like to recommend is a shop in New Waverly, Texas called Mohair & More. This is a family-owned business and they are very polite and helpful. You can order online and have it shipped to your home, and they have a wide variety of fibers. The husband and wife that own the shop are very helpful and are willing to answer any questions you might have about fibers that they sell. To order from Mohair & More, go to mohairandmore.com. I'm going to demonstrate on a top whorl, but your procedures will be the same on a bottom whorl. Start making sure your leader comes up from the behind your hook and loops in. Take one of your pre-fluffed sections of fiber, pull out a small section, a small narrow section like so, and thread that through your loop. Fold it over onto itself, just a bit. Does not need to be much, maybe an inch. And pinch at your loop. Hold your fiber in your hand, don't let that go, and hold your pinch with your dominant hand. Keep this pinch. Keeping a pinch is important because you want to protect your fiber source. You don't want that twist to travel up before you're ready for it to. Now, in your chosen direction, do you remember which direction you chose? Was it clockwise or counterclockwise? Left or right? Take a moment to remember and make a mental note. Spin your spindle. And we're building up twist, and you want to put a lot of twist in there until your leader starts to kink up a little bit. You see how my leader is kinking near the hook? That's over twist, and we want it over twisted right now. Now, we are going to park our spindle under your non-dominant armpit. Stick it all the way up in there so you get a good grip on that. You still have your twist. We're going to transfer our pinch to your non-dominant hand. We're going to pinch a second pinch just above and allow that twist to travel up. We're going to draft out some more fiber. And drafting is just pulling your fibers apart. We're going to pinch and bring your fingers together. Bringing your fingers together really controls the twist. Now, I'm nearly at the end of my arms. I don't have much further that I can go. So I'm going to unhook, and I'm going to wind onto my spindle in the same direction that I spin. So if I was spinning to the right, I'm going to turn my spindle to the right to wind on. We wind on like cotton candy. You don't want to go overhanded like so, because you would be adding and subtracting twist. So we wind on like cotton candy. And you wind on, leave a little length to come behind your hook, and hook around your hook. Now we're short again, and we need to build up more twist. So we're going to spin and spin and spin until it's a little overspun and starts to kink up. We want that energy. We're going to park it under our armpit. Switch your pinch to your non-dominant hand. And now we're going to draft. And drafting just means slowly pulling your fiber apart until it's the thickness you want it. The thinner you draft, the thinner your finished yarn is going to be. The thicker you draft, the thicker it will be. Add a pinch at the end of your draft and bring your pinched fingers together. Draft some more. Pinch at the end of your draft and bring your pinched fingers together. Allow that twist to spin up. Now, you may not be as thin as I am right now. I've had some practice. If there's not enough twist in your yarn, if you overdraft it and you don't have enough twist to really hold it together, just put more twist in there. It's fine. Not a big deal. Add more twist. Spin with the flick of your fingers on the spindle. Park it and draft. Now your draft might be fatter than mine. You might have a big thick draft, and let your twist travel up. And that's okay. You get a thicker yarn that way. As a beginner, your drafts are probably going to alternate between thick and thin. It's going to have a big bubble, then it might get thin. You might have something like this happen. Oh no, I forgot to protect my fiber. That's okay. Untwist, just back out your twist. Grab your yarn. Back out your twist. Redraft that. Back out your twist some more if it's hard time drafting. And allow the twist to go back in. You reach the end of your arm, wind onto your spindle again. Be sure you leave some space to build up twist. Come from the back of your hook, hook on, and build up twist. Now you may say, what happens when I run out of fiber? Or what happens if I made it too thin and it broke? Well, let me show you. Oh no, my fiber broke off. Overlap your ends. Fluff one end, fluff the other end, overlap them, kind of squish them together a little bit. And allow that twist to enter your new fiber. The twist will join it. And you may have a little lump when you begin. That's okay. It's important to remember to have enough twist in your yarn that it stays together. This is an underspun yarn. You can see that it pulls apart easily. If that happens to you, just reattach and add more twist. But not so much that it starts to kink. Overspun yarn kinks or twists. Draft some more or spin in reverse to release some twist. If your spindle or yarn is slipping off your hook, wrap it twice to give it a little more grip. Twist is lazy. Due to physics, it follows the path of least resistance and stays in the thin sections. You can use your fingers to force the twist into the fatter sections, or you can redraft and adjust the twist. What if I have a big fluffy spot? Again, back your twist out of it. Use your fingers, back your twist out of it. Or you could drop your fiber and let it untwist on its own. Redraft that and bring it back together. What if you forget to protect your fiber? What if you are spinning, you forget and let your fiber dangle, and it does this bit? Ah! There's tears. No, not really. Just untwist it. Just untwist. Slowly work your fiber off of that spindle. And remember to protect your fiber. And we will just continue on, building up twist, parking under your armpit, drafting your fiber to the thickness that you want, allowing your twist to travel upward, always protecting your fiber. Draft, allow the twist to travel. Unhooking, winding on. Rehook, build up twist, and repeat. And just keep doing this until you run out of fiber. Now what about if you're tired of drop spinning or you need to set your spindle down? Wind on to your spindle and wind all the way up to your pinch, and then wrap your loose fiber loosely around. It will stay put. You may lose a little bit of spin, but that's okay. Then you can set your drop spindle down. When you come back to it, you will just unwind this, find where your twist starts, pinch, and come back out until you have enough to hook around your hook and build up your twist. We recommend beginners practice 15 to 30 minutes every day to help build this muscle memory, because over time, this will become automatic. And eventually, as you continue to park and draft and spin and park and draft, eventually you'll realize that you forgot to park. And you just kept drafting while your spindle was spinning. And you learn to balance the two. And that will happen naturally. You don't have to force it. And if it never happens, it never happens. It's okay too. There's nothing wrong with a park and draft. Once you build your muscle memory for drafting with a drop spindle, if you transition to a spinning wheel, your draft is exactly the same. Wind a center pull ball with either a yarn ball winder or a wooden dowel. Take both ends of your yarn and place them in your leader. Spin your spindle in the opposite direction to ply your yarn. As you ply, your yarns untwist slightly into each other, which helps to stabilize them. I spin clockwise, so I ply counterclockwise. It's important to go the opposite direction. As you ply your yarn, slowly pull it from both the outside and the inside of your yarn ball at the same time, being careful that it doesn't tangle. Then allow your twist to travel up the yarn. Check to see if your yarn is balanced by folding it. If it twists, you may need to add more twist or possibly subtract some twist. Dangle your spindle to determine which direction you need to turn. When it no longer twists up on itself, you have a balanced yarn. After you have plied your yarn, you want to skein it using a swift, a niddy-noddy, or you can use your own arm. Set your yarn by giving it a hot water soak in a large pot or your sink. Allow the water to cool completely. Roll your skein in a towel to squeeze out excess water and then hang it to air dry. Now you have your very own hand-spun yarn to enjoy.